Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome my guest today, Aytekin Tank, the founder and CEO of Jotform. Welcome, Aytekin.
Hello, Mia. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes. So, Aytekin is as I said, the founder and CEO of Jotform, which is a powerful automation solution trusted by over 20 million users worldwide. Initially a software developer, he created Jotform in 2006 to automate the tedious process of coding web forms. Under his leadership, the company has expanded its offerings to include tools like Jotform Sign and Jotform apps, all designed to simplify users' lives. Aytekin is also an author, sharing insights on automation and productivity through his writing for outlets like Medium, Fast Company, and Entrepreneur, as well as in his newest book, Automate Your Busy Work. Welcome again, Aytekin.
That's a great introduction.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's just jump right in. Can you share your journey to becoming the founder of Jotform?
Yeah, sure. I studied computer science, and right out of college, I started working for this media company in New York, and I
Mm,
worked there for 5 years. And so I was this developer, programmer, doing a lot of different tasks. Like we had like over 100 websites, and but our editors kept coming at me and asking me to build forms for them. And I was building all these forms, like registration forms, sign up forms, like contest forms, surveys, polls, like all kinds of forms. And I kind of hated it because like I had all these like really cool, challenging tasks, and then here I was building these HTML forms. Like I tried to find a product that could help me, but I couldn't find a good product. And that's when I knew that, like, when I'm ready, because I wasn't feeling ready to start my own startup, when I was ready, this could be like the real good product to build. And so it took me 5 years to have the courage to one day just, walk upstairs to my boss, like my, legs were actually shaking, and said, "Hey, I'm quitting. I'm leaving. I'm starting my own business." And yeah, it took me a while, but like the next day, like once, of course I gave like 2 weeks notice, but the next day when I started Jotform, working on Jotform, it felt great. And I worked on, so I quit like summer 2005, and I worked on the first version of Jotform for like 8 months. And 2006, I released Jotform to the world, and it's been 18 years, almost like 2 decades. And now Jotform is this large company with 700 employees, 25 million users, and offices around the world, like 7 different cities. And so I went from hating forms to building this forms empire.
Forms Empire. I love
Forms
that. I
empire,
love that.
yeah.
So, one of my favorite things that I like to hear from founders on the show is whether or not they were entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial before they had the idea. And then also, I like to know if they solved a problem for themselves or if they just have, like, what the story and background is behind their ideation phase and how they actually came up with the idea. So, I love that you actually solved a problem you had for yourself. And so you were basically your first user of your product, right?
Exactly. Like because I have been solving this problem like maybe like 100 times for
Mm.
our editors. And so I knew exactly what was needed. I knew exactly what people needed, and I was ready to go. And that, I think that's great. If you're a founder, if you know what people need, that's like you solved like 90% of the problem. Like everything else is much easier. Like they're not easy. Like you have to kind of learn lots of stuff. But
Mhm.
that's like the most critical part of founding a startup. Like you have to kind of figure out
Solve
like
a
what
problem.
people need. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So who was Aytekin before you became an entrepreneur? And how did you get into software development or computer science for school?
So I've grown up in Turkey, and when I was in middle school, I didn't actually have a computer at home. There was this class on the weekends, like this at my school, And like once I actually like this was programming class, and so like the first day that like I kind of like tried it, and it was amazing. Like just like it was like the week was like I was thinking about like what I will do next weekend on the class. It was such a like love at first sight. Like just it was my thing, and it was also about it was also like I felt like I could actually build anything with this. Like this programming thing is like just like I could build a product from scratch. It was so exciting for me. It took me many years to to study computer science and to really learn stuff. But like I had that passion in me. Like just it started like while I was a kid, and while I was a student at the university, I was also like started building all these different products. I was doing all these open source products, and people were using them, and I was really excited by that. And like I remember like receiving like my first check from someone who is using the product and wanted me to change something on it, and then like it was such a great feeling, and that actually created that feeling in me about like being an entrepreneur, getting me excited. That got me excited about being an entrepreneur, building my own products. But I didn't have the confidence. So I once I finished the school, I found a great job and I worked with real good people. And I'm glad I did that because I learned so much. But I had that passion in me. Like I knew that one day I was gonna start my own company, and I was still like on the side. I was building my own products on the side. They weren't big like Jotform became, but they were small products like side projects, and people were using them. So I also learned a lot from that experience, like just doing things on the side. I learned a little bit of marketing because I was like, getting people to use these products. I learned like how to build a product, like how to provide customer support. So it was kind of like baby steps, like to kind of start getting my toes in the water. But I think that was also important for me to have that confidence to start my own startup and go on my own. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the confidence building. What do you think was most pivotal for you developing your confidence? When was there a moment that you remember that you were like, wow, I can do this? Or was it more of a, really just a tough time? Because I hear this so many times and I've experienced it myself. If you are lacking confidence in any way, it can really be a long-term work in progress to get that going. You know what I mean?
I think what really made the difference for me was reading all these blogs and books of other founders, because I've seen I've learned so much from them. And two of the blogs that I was reading was Joel Spolsky's blog and Paul Graham's blogs. So like I was also reading books and just I was kind of preparing. Like I was reading marketing books, I was reading tech books. So I was actually like I was reading like PR books. Like just I was trying to learn everything that I would need one day, and that also helped me build that confidence. So it's very
Yes.
important to kind of and to have those kind of reading about the others' experiences really made a big difference for me.
Yes. Okay. So education and kind of getting that inspiration from others that had done what you wanted to do,
Exactly, that's
basically.
the like inspiration, and I still today like just I get inspired by others. Like just continue to read books. I also like listen to a lot of podcasts. Now, like nowadays, like YouTube is big, podcasts are big. Like you can learn so much from them, and like just I learned so much from them. Like instead of watching TV, like just I spend like a couple of hours every night, listen to this podcast, learning from others, and get inspired by them. So it never ends. Like you keep learning from others. There's no end to it, and I love it. I love that kind of uh, being able to keep learning. And this is a great time to be starting your own business, being a founder, because there's just like so much knowledge that you can learn from.
At such an accelerated rate, right? Like you can learn so much so fast. It's amazing. But it's so inspiring to hear from you that you're still being inspired even after the success you've already achieved yourself, that you're still inspired by others in your space no matter where they are in their journey right now. So that's pretty cool. And that's, I think, a testament to what type of founder you are. And I have had some conversations recently about the difference between a great CEO and a good CEO. One of my key characteristics that I say is this desire to learn and understand your business, every part of your business. When you think about Elon Musk, walking down to the labs and testing the cars himself, or Jeff Bezos answering the phone, once or twice a year. That's to me the mark of a great CEO who wants to learn and always continues to want to develop themselves personally and professionally.
I mean, no matter where you are, there's just like there's still so much you can do. There's still so much you can learn, and so like I see that like being a great CEO or maybe being a great founder is about like kind of discovering those things. Like I ask myself like those two questions: what's the biggest bottleneck for our company, and what's the biggest opportunity for our company? And that's actually how I design my work. So right now, like what's the biggest opportunity for our company is AI. Like there's this big AI revolution going on. There's like so much we can do for our 25 million users at Jotform. Like, and so I'm working on this new AI product. So a year ago, like I just grabbed like three of the AI people we had, like they were doing all these like machine learning stuff, trying to catch these fishers and frauders, and we started working on this product. And now like I scaled that from like those three people to 120 people are actually working on this new product right now, and then we're going to release that in next year, February 2025. And so that's like, so basically Mondays and Wednesdays I work on this AI product. And so the first question was, what's the biggest opportunity, which is AI for us? And the second question I asked myself is, what's the biggest bottleneck for our company? Like what actually holds us from growing? And I found that like we have been this like product led, we have been this kind of SaaS service product for almost all of our time. And recently we started kind of building our like sales organization, also doing enterprise sales. And that's actually the biggest growth we have in our company. So what I'm actually working on is like, how do we grow our enterprise, like enterprise growth, enterprise marketing. Just I'm focused on that one. Like, so both of these areas I actually knew very little, right? So I've been watching all these. For the AI, I've been watching all these AI related podcasts and reading these books. And for the enterprise, like I'm reading like all these different books about sales, like marketing, leads, like watching all these SaaSter, videos on YouTube. So I still have like so much to learn. And there's just like, you can still find so many things to learn wherever you are, at whatever level you are at.
Totally agree. Yeah. So as an avid reader, what has been your favorite book or podcast resource that has made the biggest impact on your mindset as an entrepreneur?
So like the biggest impact for the book was the Creative Selection by Ken Kosiande. Basically, he worked for Apple for a long time. He worked very closely with Steve Jobs. He actually created Safari. He created like the iPhone's keyboard, and he actually like describes exactly how Apple works in this book. Like their review culture, their competition culture. Like when they need to like solve a problem, they are going to actually build like multiple teams. these teams are competing with each other to find a solution, kind of,
Mhm.
or so like the Steve Jobs or like other important people at the company, they're actually doing all these reviews, constant reviews. Like, the teams are actually very creative. They are very independent. They have their own freedom, but they are also getting all these reviews all the time. So that actually changed how we worked at Jotform, and they made a big impact for us. The second one was the Lean Startup, Eric Rice. But actually, like I was actually reading his blog many years before he actually wrote the Lean Startup. So I already learned everything before he published the book from him. But that also like that, small cross-functional teams, like, this agile, iterative development, like that also shaped me as an entrepreneur, like how we work at Jotform. For the podcast, I think like one of my current favorite podcasts are Marketing Against the Grain. It's a marketing podcast, but they cover all this AI stuff, all the recent AI stuff, and it's very easy to understand. And they give all these examples, and they are like the made by the HubSpot people, like the CMO of HubSpot and like the senior VP at HubSpot. And it's a great show. Like, I would highly recommend that.
Tell me the name again of the podcast.
Marketing Against the Grain.
Marketing Against the Grain.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is your superpower, Aytekin?
I would say my superpower is automation, and I didn't have that superpower. It just I had to develop it. So let me tell you this story. In the early days of Jotform, like we were this small team, and like, I made the mistake that every entrepreneur makes. That I was actually became this like kind of like an administrator. I got lost in all this like administrative business stuff, like just day to day operations, right? So I was doing like doing customer support all day long. I was answering emails all day long, and I was doing like accounting, legal, HR, ordering supplies for the office. Like I was doing everything. And right at this moment, something else happened. Google actually came out with a competing product. So Google Forms, which directly competes with Jotform, came out. And like at this point, like I was like, okay, I have to change something because I'm not advancing my product. And if I'm gonna be able to be able to beat Google, which is really hard, like I have to change something. Like just like this is not working. And I decided that I took some time off, and then I thought about like how I spend my time. I decided that there is a solution, and the solution was automation and delegation. So I started automating as much as possible. I'm already a programmer. Like there are many tools. So for example, in my inbox, I was getting lost. I built all these like filters and labels, and built this system that allowed me to like save hours every day. Like just I'm not kidding, just hours every day. It made such a big difference. And I also like hired these like support consult contractors on Upwork. Just like I hired like 5 support people and just stopped doing support. And just I started automating everything, and that made a huge difference. I was able to kind of like really make a difference in my business. And I think that's one of the reasons that we are successful. But I didn't stop there. So I started kind of teaching what I learned about automation to our team, to the way we worked. It kind of got embedded in our culture, and the way we developed our product, or the way we did things. We were able to do a lot of things by automation. And also, like when I looked at our product, when I discovered that our users are actually using Jotform for automation. It's an automation product. But if you think about it, like the top customers at Jotform is like education, healthcare, nonprofits, government, or the small business, like just this one guy like trying to deal with like so many customers, right? Like they're actually automating all that communication, all that, like they're automating how they organize stuff, how they do their business, like they're automating their workflows.
Right.
So like I started thinking about like how can we help these people with the next steps, right? How can we automate more and more things for them? Not just the forms. Like, can we automate the emails? Can we automate like, document generation, e-signatures, like all kinds of stuff for our customers? So that, because I learned so much about automation, I wrote this book. It took me a while, but I released the book last year, and it became a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And you can actually read the first chapter of the book on my website, my personal website, aytekintank.com. And there's a free chapter. You can just read it there, and if you like it, it's available on.
Meet Brandy, your all-in-one content creation sidekick designed to make creating and managing your brand's content effortless. Let me show you how it works. Got a team? Bring them in. With Brandy, everyone can pitch in to create content that clicks. Managing multiple brands? Easily switch between profiles so you're always ready for the next project. The Brand Voice Analyzer ensures your content always sounds like you. Stuck on where to start? Check out our handy prompt templates. They're like creative jumpstarts to get things moving. Every edit, every version saved. With content revision history, nothing gets lost, and you can always pick up right where you left off. Everything your brand needs, it's all right here in your brand asset library. Stay organized like a pro with custom folders for every project. No more hunting for that one file. Brandy does too, and is ready to help you connect. Or in any language, really. Speak to your audience in the words they know best. Need ideas or have questions? Just ask Brandy. Save time with custom snippets. Your most used phrases, always handy when you need them. Keep your notes, links, and ideas in one spot, so you're never hunting for that one piece of inspiration. Get personalized content tips and SEO strategies to help your brand stand out online. Join Brandy today and make your content creation smarter, faster, and better. Let's create something amazing.
One of the questions I like to ask about automation from automation experts is, how do you know where to start automating? So, there's in our daily lives, especially as founders, there's so many things that we need to do, processes, systems, making decisions. And so how do you know where you can buy your most time back, so to speak?
The subtitle of my book is like automate your busy work so that you can save your brain for the big stuff. I think it's about prioritization. So one of the tools that I describe in my book is called like a time audit. So if you do this for a week, like just create a spreadsheet, you could use like Google Sheets, and then just make a note of you could use your, phone to like just, alert yourself every top of the hour, and just make a note of like how you spend, like what did you do during the last hour? And then at the end of the week, just total them up, right? And then you discover that, okay, I spent this much time like answering customers on email. I spent this much time doing this and that, right? So you have that. So once you have that, I want you to ask yourself two questions. What should I spend my time on, and what shouldn't I spend my time on? And look at those totals. And do you really spend your time on things that really matter, that really make you happy or grow your business or make a difference? Or do you spend your time on things that doesn't really matter that much, but they like you just have to do them all the time? So I think you should be first attacking those things that are not like you don't enjoy working on them, things that you don't enjoy, because they're not just taking your time, but they are actually draining you. They are like, you're losing motivation, like, and also because you're working on them, like you kind of don't do the important stuff. So you first want to automate the stuff that you don't want to do, so you have more time for things that really matter. And it's about taking the time to finding the tools that you can use to automate them. and just like slowly building your systems so that like just you cannot just automate everything at once. But I talk about this framework that I call the automation flywheel. You just basically like just take one piece of your workday, and maybe you first do like this workflow diagrams to discover like how you spend your time, like what do you do, because most of the time the tasks are not very easy to automate because they involve like multiple people, but they can also be automated. Like you need to send an email to someone and then they need to but if you think about it, before Calendly we were all like just sending each other emails saying like, are you free next week this time?
Yes.
And like just
Right.
10 emails, right? And
Right.
Calendly is a proof that those workflows that involve multiple people, they can also be automated. So yeah, I mean, basically, start with the stuff that you don't want to work on, and then you will have more time to be more productive, and that you will want to automate more because, like, you will get your energy back. You will have more motivation to do great things.
You mentioned earlier about how what triggered this exploration for you of understanding and implementing more automation into your life. You said that you were about to start, or you had begun to compete with one of the biggest companies in the world. And so you were under the gun to really be innovative. Would you say that innovation is the only way, or would you say it is the most important way that you can actually consider or plan an attack against the biggest companies in the world? Because with AI growing the way that it has and accelerating the way that it has, so many small companies are competing with just biggest companies in this race to be the first person to do this or the first person to do that. So is that the answer to go against these biggest companies?
I think innovation is important, technology is important, but it's not enough. So I mentor many startup founders, and some of them are really good at technology. They are really good at innovation. But the thing is, maybe they don't really understand their users. Maybe they don't understand what people need. So like they keep building and building these things that very innovative stuff, and no one is using them. So it doesn't matter what innovative solutions you create. If no one is using them, you're not creating any value for anybody. It's just, so I think it's just like the most important thing would be to really understand users and really understand user needs. And then you actually look at all the new technologies coming out, all the innovation you can use, and you start thinking about like how you can apply that. And with our new, like the AI product that we are working on, we are actually looking at, okay, people are using forms because they are kind of like organizing their work, automating their work. Like, let's say you're a school administrator, you have parents, teachers, students, like, other employees, like so many people, right? And then you're organizing them. Like, how do you organize them? You organize them with forms so that they can just fill out a form to make a request, sign up for something, right? Forms save you so much time. But what if instead of using forms, what if we could actually give you this like maybe chatbot or an AI agent that you could actually, that would actually take over for you, like maybe a clone of yourself that can actually handle all those things, not just like fill out those forms. Maybe it can actually answer questions for you. Like, you save so much time, then you can actually work on more things that matter. So that's actually how we found that idea. Like, we didn't actually find that idea in the beginning. Like I just wanted to do some experiments with AI, and then we tried many things. But I didn't like the value we were providing to our users with all the things that I tried. But then we stumbled upon this idea that why don't we replace forms with these chatbots, and then people can still answer the questions, but they can also they can still give their form answers, but they can also get questions answered. They can also like just do so many other things that we are working on right now. But I think it's about like really understanding the customers and then finding using innovation to find a solution. So one of the things that we do at Jotform is like we have this user research team, and what they do is like they will just interview customers, and they will just send this email saying, okay, we want to take like 45 minutes of your time. Like here's, we want to also give you this Amazon gift certificate for your time. And many times like people don't want to take that gift certificate. Like they are so happy that, we are listening to them. But like we learn so much from them. Like we learn how they use, and then what else they need. And that's actually a great way to discover like what they need. And then that's exactly when you need the innovation, like how you solve those problems. And just innovating for the sake of innovation is just, it doesn't really help anybody. Yeah.
That is such a great answer. Yes. So I hear you saying that it's user research, customer feedback, and innovation. Those things working together. That's how you actually can potentially beat the competition, the big competition. So that's what a great answer. What a great answer. So so you bootstrap Jotform to 25 million users without external funding. How did you do that, Aytekin?
Okay, so it took me 18 years. so I mean, there are many founders who were able to get to that scale much faster. But for me, I think there are like three big reasons that actually made a big difference for us. The first one is having this free product. Like even from day one, I wanted to give away the product for free so that I can actually get feedback from users. And then I discovered that having a free product actually helped us a lot, because people, once they get value, like once you meet with people, once they see your product is good, when their usage increases, they want to actually buy the next level. So the first year it was all free, and then the end of the first year, like we announced, okay, we are actually releasing this premium version, paid version. So far we had like 15,000 users, and then 500 of them just upgraded right away as soon as we announced that. And that was a great proof that actually having the free product is very useful. And we kept that. We kept having this free product that's fully functional, and still we still have it today, because I really believe that at the beginning of the journey, the user journey, people are actually like thinking about, should I use this product? What is this product? They have like so many questions. And if you put that blocker at the beginning that says, okay, you need to pay this to use this product, or even like a trial is kind of like, if they are not sure, they will just leave it. So I think free is a great marketing tool to gain user base, grow your brand, grow your, if you want to go to millions of users, I think it's no brainer. So that's the first one. The second one is just really doing SEO has always been important for us. And the way we achieved that was Jotform is a very horizontal product. Like you can, everybody uses Jotform. Like everybody needs forms, right? So what we did was we created these form examples, form templates, and we created this directory of 10,000 form templates. And we discovered our initial reason was to help users quickly create forms, but it turned out that this is also a great way to reach people, because people are looking for that example for, let's say, event registration form. They're Googling it, and then they're finding our template. It's okay if they want to steal that template, copy. If they can build their own forms, that's fine. They can copy it. But most people they will just use Jotform. It's just very easy. Just click a button and everything is ready. It can send emails. It's ready. You can customize it. So you spend your time on things that matter, things that will make a difference. You integrate it with other services. Just so many features. So that's the second one. Really, having these templates for forms that people can discover and it's also like people can see like how they can use the product, like, and then they discover, okay, I can use it this way, I can use it that way. So if you're a founder, and if your product can be used on different ways, I think it's a great idea to build this directory of templates or examples or use cases, and it's a great way to kind of help people find your product using Google as well. So the first one, like having the free product, and the second one is the SEO. And I think the third reason is the inherent virality of the product, because like when you use forms, it's like inherently like you share it with other people, right? Like you don't like there are actually a lot of Jotform users who will use forms themselves. Maybe if they need offline forms, they will just install our mobile app, and wherever they go, like they can fill out the form, enter their data. So there are a lot of users, but like 99% of our users, they actually create forms and send it to other people to use, or they embed on their website. So what happens is that when you share that form with others, they actually hear about Jotform, and then they also come and start using the product. And one of the great reasons to have a free version is you can also like put this, like you don't want to put like this large powered by Jotform logo in it. Like you can put this small like powered by Jotform. That also makes people curious about, okay, what's this product? I'm going to click on it and find out what it is. So that's also helped us. So I think the virality, the free product, and the having like really investing in SEO and templates, I think those three things made the biggest difference for us in terms of our growth.
Yes, I agree with you on those. So if you're starting a business right now, would you definitely pick a free, the same model of this freemium model, or would you potentially consider a free trial instead? How do you balance or make a decision between those two options?
If I was starting a startup right now, I think it's a great time to start a startup. By the way, right now it's because of this AI revolution going on. Like just you can add AI to anything, and people are excited about it. Like there's this big blue ocean in terms of AI. Like there's just like so many possibilities, and there's just going to be it's just like the first days of internet or mobile phones. Like there's just like so many possibilities. So I would definitely build an AI product if I started today. But yeah, definitely I would use free as well, because you want to get a lot of people to try your product. There's always a way to have a free version. But you want to make your free version usable. Like you don't want to make it like very, very limited. And we tested that over the years. Like, for example, we have this payment forms feature, right? We integrate with almost like 50 payment gateways, like PayPal, Stripe, Square, any kind of payment gateway you want to integrate with. You can integrate your forms and create the payment forms. And we thought, okay, we give people like 10, payments per month. And for forms, we have like 100 form submissions per month for free. With payments, we have this limit of 10 per month. We said, hey, people are earning money. Let's reduce that limit. And just, we will get more customers this way. Let's experiment. And the experiment, like we did the experiment, it was very successful. We cheered, like, we reduced that from 10 to 3. You could only get like 3 payments with your forms per month, and then you had to upgrade. Like people were upgrading a lot. There was some like people who were like not happy. We grandfathered existing users, but there were still people who heard about like the 10 limit and came and found that the limit was reduced. But things were actually looking great. Like, we actually increased our sales. It's looking great, right? So, and then we did this experiment, we closed the topic and we are done. Okay, this is a success. A year later, I was just looking at our dashboards, and like we have all these different dashboards about different features. And I was looking at this payments dashboard, and I discovered that until a year before that time, that we had this really great growth curve for our payment forms, And then a year ago, it just stopped. Like just it was going straight. Like we lost that momentum. We lost that growth for our payment forms, and that was because like we reduced the free version so much that people weren't getting enough value. So we just took it back. We increased our limits back to 10 per month, and then things started looking up again. So that was a great lesson for us. It's important to provide like all the free features with people so that they can actually use the product for free, really use the product, not just like test it or trial it, really use the product. And then once you create that like goodwill, that people are they're happy to buy the product once their actual usage increases. So, and we are actually like, just like if you look at Jotform customers, they're like these educators, healthcare, nonprofits, government, and like small business. These guys are like, they're not very rich. Like they are that's actually, they're the small guys. Like they're like, even they could be in a big organization, but they're like trying to, like, they're so busy trying to get so much stuff done. And it's that free is a great way for them to like have that first leap, start using our product.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What made you choose to grow slowly and steadily for quite a while before rapid scaling, or really you really scaled this business way before you got any VC funding? Why did you move in that direction at that point?
It's actually, I never moved into VC direction. I've always been bootstrapped from the beginning.
Okay.
I'm still 100% owner of Jotform. Never received any funding. Never received any debt. So it's still bootstrapped and going strong 18 years after. And I had this mindset that this is a long journey, and I will just wherever I am, I will just live live within my means, right? So if you look at Jotform history, the first 5 years, I was just adding like one employee every year. Like the first year, it was all me. At the end of the first year, I hired my first employee, and the first 5 years, like just moved from like 1 to 5. But if you look at the last 5 years of Jotform, from 2019 to like 2024, we are actually we went from like 200 to 700. So we actually, like, we were adding like 100 employees every year, and that's just because of our growth, right? SaaS business. The great thing about SaaS is it starts very slowly, especially if you're a bootstrapper. But once you gain that it's kind of like a snowball. If you have low churns, like number of users constantly increase because people are paying monthly or yearly, and then if you have low churn rate, it keeps adding up, and then you can grow. Pandemic also helped us a lot. That's actually one of the reasons that we were able to hire more aggressively, because if you think about it, this digital transformation has been going on for a long time, and people have been moving to forms, like online forms, for a long time. But it took the pandemic to kind of speed that up. And suddenly, I think we moved like 10 years. We just jumped like 10 years ahead with the pandemic, and because of that, our users increased during 2000 and the next year, and still continue to increase over the years. I think I always had this rule that I will only hire an employee if I have salary for that employee for a year. So that's why, like, the first year, I could only hire my first employee, and the second year, like, just 2 employees, and then and this rule is great because I can sleep well. I don't have to worry about paying, making the payroll. And we are lucky because during these 18 years, we never did like a layoff or anything like that. Just because I was always staying within my means, just making sure every month checking, how much we earned last month, how much we spent last month, making sure that at least we have like 25% margin there. And I don't want to have like big margins, or I don't want to have like low margins. Low margins means that I'm putting things in danger, but high margins means that I'm not reinvesting in the company enough so that we can grow further. Yeah, so I followed those rules, just making sure that I have the salaries for the employees in the bank, and making sure that I have like 25% gross margins, and then I was able to continue being a bootstrapper and stay independent and free without worrying about answering to investors.
What you have accomplished is so unique. I'm at a loss for words. I to let's distill your experience into one piece of advice for a new startup founder. You've shared so much already about everything from automation to delegation to innovation, and you dropped a lot of gems. But okay, so I'm a brand new SaaS startup founder. What's one piece of advice you have for me that you wish you would have known before you learned it in your business?
I think it's a journey. It's a journey that like you don't have to rush. You can enjoy every moment of it. And I still like when I just started Jotform, when I first hired my employee. Previously, I was this individual contributor, so I never had an experience managing people. And if I got an investor and I was growing quickly, I would have sucked as a manager because I had no experience. But because I started slowly, I hired my first employee. Like we were like friends. Like we would go to lunch together every day. We would talk about Jotform every day. So and then the second employee. So it was very slow growth, and I think it's a great thing. Like there's this culture that says that this hustle culture, like you have to get big investment and you have to do this and that, and just you need to move fast. And you don't have to do that. Like you can just take your time, build a good product for your customers, and keep learning, keep growing, have that growth mindset in mind. And that's the way it was for me.
So let's talk about content a little bit. So you mentioned the example of the template library.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so that's one example actually of content marketing, right? It's a little unique because it's not necessarily like long form written content. Nonetheless, it worked. But content is often about storytelling. So how do you ensure, or do you care, if Jotform's brand is authentically represented in the voice of the company that you've created? Because I want to add to that conversation, AI is creating this situation where many people are leveraging it for content creation and all sounding the same. We're losing our individual voices as companies. So, what are your thoughts on that, and how do you kind of keep that in the forefront as you leverage content to tell the story of Jotform?
One of the things that really helped me throughout this journey was I have always been blogging. Even before I released Jotform, I started my blog first because I wanted to, like at that time, like around 2005, 2006, blogging was bigger, right? Today, podcasts are big. At that time, like blogging was bigger. It was a good way to kind of like connect with other bloggers, get some exposure, like get them to mention your product if you're launching a product. So build like some, audience. I have always been blogging during these years, and that actually helped me a lot because I was able to like it kind of like if you do something consistently for a long time, you get better at it, and then you can actually kind of like be on like be able to get like more opportunities. So for me, for example, I've been blogging on my website for a long time, but I think it was around like 20, I don't know, 2015 or something like that, 2017 or something like that. Like one day, the Entrepreneur magazine was actually like doing this conference in LA, and they invited me. If they asked like if I want to make a speech. I don't know where they found me, maybe from my blog, but then I went there. And the great thing about being there was like, I was actually like, there's this big audience. I made this short speech, but I was like shaking. I don't know how, like, I can't remember anything about it, but I don't know if it was a good speech or not. But I actually prepared a lot, so hopefully it was a good speech. But before I go to the stage, I was able to meet all these like entrepreneur, the editors, like the top editor for Entrepreneur, and like other writers. And I asked them, hey, I've been blogging for a long time. Can I actually start, can I also publish at your magazine? And then they said, hey, why not? And then just I started publishing there. And that I was able to do that because I already had a blog. So that kind of, so it just takes, it takes long time to be able to kind of improve your writing to get to some places, right? So once I did that, like that also helped me kind of go to the other opportunities. Like, so I'm now writing for Forbes, Fast Company, and my book was published by Wiley. So all these opportunities came because just like I was able to kind of take that opportunity to promote myself, go to that conference. So it just, luck helps the person who prepares. So, so I was able to kind of, like be a voice on different platforms where there's like a lot of people. So that helps with the authenticity, getting people to know more about Jotform. And you asked about like the AI, like this is the AI age of AI. So I think the opposite of AI is like being this authentic person who talks about like your stories, who talks about like what happened to you. AI doesn't have those stories. Like it can generate those stories, but it's not going to be real, like your real stories. So I think it's storytelling is really important. Having that authenticity is really important, and I try to do that a lot. And I'm also now trying to do that on podcasts, right? I'm going to podcasts, talking about Jotform, talking about what I learned, and then kind of building myself as a podcaster. Just like when I was a blogger, I was this terrible blogger that like didn't really write well, but over time I got better. So hopefully, like doing all these podcasts, I'm actually getting better as well. So it's you should look at everything as like building capabilities as opposed to like, hey, is this going to help me? Like just having that transactional mindset. If I do this, would this really help me? Like if you ask everything like that, then it's not like just it's hard to decide like what to do. But if you can actually look at things like, okay, we are gonna build these like YouTube videos every month, right? So for example, we decide, okay, our marketing team, we decide, okay, we are gonna build like 1,000 minutes of content every month, or we are gonna write like this, every month we are gonna write like 100 articles, 100 blog posts, right? But once you decide that, okay, we are gonna do this, what happens is that you start slowly. It's okay, like you are not going to reach that point, that capability. It may take you many years to reach that, but you start thinking about like what else I need to do to reach that point. So with the YouTube, like we were just producing like 5 minutes of content on average on our YouTube channel, and we had like maybe like 1,000 followers, something like that, very few followers. And then I've been watching all these podcasts. I've been watching so much YouTube, and I was like looking at our Jotform YouTube channel. It was like silent. There was nothing there. So I was like, okay. when I met with the marketing team, we were talking about like what we are actually producing great videos. We have a video production team within our marketing team, and we decided, okay, we are just going to put this goal, and there's no rush. Like we don't have to reach this goal instantly, but we are going to try to reach this goal every month. We are going to increase, and we are going to have this report every month coming telling us, okay, we are trying to reach like 1,000 minutes of YouTube content, and then so we started with like 5 minutes, right? From 5 minutes to 1,000 minutes, it's like a big difference. But then we start, okay, hey, why don't we start a webinar? Let's do a webinar. People, and then once we start a webinar, people actually started watching them. Like it was good. So let's start a podcast, right? Our own podcast. And just, we did that. And then we started, like at some point, like to reach 1,000 minutes, we hired more people to our team, but it was like, this is going to be difficult. Like we are not going to get there by ourselves. Okay, let's hire an agency. So we started hiring like video production agencies, and we just gave them like, okay, like just we want to produce these education content about how to do these things at Jotform. Like we already have all these blog content. Like what we need to do is basically turn this blog content or turn these user guides or all these content we already have in written form and produce videos. And it turned out that there are great video agencies that can actually do an amazing job at that. And we hired them, and then we were able to reach that level. We stayed at that level for a long time. Recently, priorities a little bit changed. We are not pushing for that level right now, but staying that for a long time, we were able to go from like 1,000 or something like that visit per month to like 100 visits per month. Our YouTube channel started receiving like 100,000 visits per month, and that made a big difference. So it's about kind of having that, how can we build our capabilities, and then like just don't think too much about like, should I do this, should I do that? Let's just produce more. And the thing is, like, if you do things more, you get better at them, right? Don't worry too much about doing things bad. Like you will get better at them, right? Just
do
start
it.
turning those content out, and then you will get better at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So where can people find you on social media if they want to follow your journey from here, Aytekin?
So I'm on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. I have a website, aytekintank.com, and you can find like the free chapter of my book there. And I'm also sometimes posting on LinkedIn. So those are the like LinkedIn and Twitter is two social media channels that I'm involved with. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks everyone for joining us today. I hope this episode was as enlightening and insightful for you as it was for me. Thanks. We'll see you soon. Bye.